Welcome to the Manhood Podcast. I'm your host, Bob Mann, provider, protector, procreator, promise keeper. I have a special guest with us today, one that I'm very proud of, my son, Jarrett Mann. As I told you before, I was going to have my kids come on and talk about me as a dad, but this is my one child who does have children and is a dad, so we're going to talk to him about being a dad. Welcome, Jarrett.
Thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
So I typically ask all of my guests, when you became a father, had you planned on becoming a father? Were you intentional about it, or did it just happen?
Yeah, it was definitely planned. It was talked about. So Grace and I, we got married in 2019.
Yep.
And I quickly knew that we had dated for quite some time. We had kind of done the vacations, done the traveling. And so for me, I always said I wanted to be a young parent, and I was almost 30. And so it was planned. Yeah. I always wanted to kind of get there, and I finally found the right partner and had the marriage. And so, yeah, definitely intentional.
Good. Now, when did the paternal instincts kick in? And I talk about you a lot on my podcast, what a great dad you are and how present and active, very, very constant and hands-on with raising your kids. When did that kick in for you?
Well, I mean, I have you and Mom to thank for a lot of that. I was 10 when Jada was born, and I was 13 when Joy was born. So I can't remember which one, but I was changing diapers either for both or for one of them. So at a very early age, I mean, I didn't really have a choice but to help change diapers, throw wipes in,
put a bottle in somebody's mouth,
all the things, right? Like
pacifier.
And none of those moments made me think like, oh, I'm ready to be a dad. Yeah. But I think once we had Kinsley, my first child, it was July of 2020.
So we were
in COVID, and you're looking at fatherhood in his eyes, and there's nowhere to go. You can't run to the store, you can't run to the gym, you can't go to work. It's just here. So I felt like I had a head start. Yeah. But there's also a different level of paternity when that child is yours and they're your responsibility.
Right. And and I talk about this a lot. You've taken it to another level. My father, your grandfather, he dropped your grandmother off at the hospital when she was having me, left and came back. And you got to remember, there are no cell phones and no beepers or anything at this time.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how he figured it was time to come back, but he came back. I was in the delivery room for the four of you all, right? You were in the delivery room and everything else, but what is it? I mean, and you've taken it to another level. What is it about you as a father that caused you to take it to that level?
That's a good question. I enjoy it, I guess. I don't know what I don't know what is maybe propelled me there, but like I like to be the dad who's there, and I wouldn't want to miss a moment. And I'll be honest with you, like I wanted a boy. So in my head, I'm like, all right, we're going to have a boy. It's going to be, more of the man-to-man machismo. Right. And I think once I had the girls, I just melted. Like, I was just like, oh, yeah, whatever you want, whatever you need. Like, I'll be there. So I think that was a part of it, too, was like having a girl really, you just jump into, like, protector mode, provider mode. And for me, like I said, like, I started in COVID. Yeah. So then, re-entry into the world in 2021, I'm like, oh, I got to leave my kid for 3 days to go to work. Like, this is just weird to me. So I think it was a combination of that. But, once you have the girls, it's kind of like you just want to be there.
They wrap you around their little finger and you're done. You're done. So I'm going to ask the questions in reverse. I usually ask, what do you do as a good, what have you done good as a dad? What have you done bad as a dad? I'm going to ask you first, what do you think you've done bad or maybe you could improve on as a dad?
Well, I'm not the most patient person. I think I am pretty patient with them, but there are times when, like any parent, you just get flustered. The 2-year-olds falling on the ground, the 4-year-olds whining left and right, and you just kind of you snap, and you have that moment of like, hey,
listen, I've been out here in Portland, Oregon for the last 5, 6, 7 days, and I've watched you before. They're much better now than they were before. They're growing and developing, and I love to see the development, how they play together. But I've seen them when they did not play together. And I've watched you be very, very patient with both of them and not snapping on them and everything else. So you may feel like you're not patient enough. I see, a picture of patience and how you treat them and how you deal with them. Yeah. So what do you think you do very well?
I got one more to add to
my
my bad list. I just thought about it. They're spoiled. I've never made them work for one thing. They get whatever they want, and they know no value of work or money. They just know, oh, Dad's gonna get it for me. So that's probably to add on to the bad.
Okay, all right. So that my granddaughters are 4 and 2. That has not kicked in yet. You will start paying for that
yes.
as they get older, all right?
Yep.
So you recognizing it now, you have an opportunity to kind of switch that around and improve on that. But yeah, that's one that will bite you on the tail. Yep. But much later in life and for a long time in life, I deal with your sisters all the time. Yep. So you recognize it, you've seen it, you know what it is.
For sure.
Yeah. So what do you think you do well?
I think for me, like consistency, right? Yeah. I think what I want my daughters to get from me is that, okay, when I see Dad, I know what I'm going to get. He's reliable, he's consistent, and he's steady. And if I know I pick up the phone or I see him, then I can just, I get what I get when I see Dad. So for me, it's like showing up every day, being there. Like, I don't get to drop him off to school every day, but I'll fight Grace if I can. Like, I'm going to take him 2 days if you got to take him 3. Pickups, like, can I pick you up from school? And I've got a high demanding job, but one of the things I don't bend on is like, I block off my schedule from 4 to 5 every single day because that's when I got to go get my kids. Okay. I'll work from 8 to 10 after that.
Right.
But I think there's that moment when like, my dad works hard, he provides, but like, I don't want that to be at the sacrifice of like, I don't see him though.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's huge. That shows a lot of maturity, shows a lot of wisdom in doing that. Because a lot of us men, and I don't know if you remember, when we were working on the church, I was down at the church really 7 days a week, from early in the morning to late at night. I was not home, and that's when we lived in Cranberry. And one Saturday, I'm down there working, and your mother brought you and Justin down to the church to see me. I think she meant it to be facetious, okay? But I got the point. Yeah, you haven't seen your kids all week, so I figure I'd bring them down here to see you, And that's a mistake that I made early on, is not being home enough, not spending enough time. So I'm glad you have learned and implemented that lesson, because you don't get the time back.
Yeah.
They are 2 years old for 365 days, and every day that you miss, you do not get back. So that's good. Anything else that you do that's really good?
I mean, I'd like to think we have fun. Like I think I think they know what I mean business, but for the most part, like they're 2 and 4, and we just are creative, and we make up games, and we have fun, and we just try to give them. Give them everything they would want and could dream
When you say
of.
We make up games and are creative, who are we talking about?
I guess me and Kinsley. Me and Kinsley make up games. Yes.
I'm laughing because I watch him. I almost want to say entertain them, but I think he has as much fun as they do. They're playing with something. He goes and grabs another toy and starts playing with it and showing them this, and then grabs another. And you could just see the joy in him in doing that, and I love to see that as a dad, just really loving being with your kids, doing stuff with you, not feeling that you have to do it, but that you want to do it, and that's really special. If you could bottle that up and sell it, you'd be a very rich man. You'd be a very, very rich man. Yeah. All right, I guess I'm delaying the inevitable. Now you have to critique me as a dad. Okay. What did I do as a dad? I mean, I'm going to start off with the good stuff because I don't know if I want to hear the bad stuff. What did I do as a dad that you can remember that was good?
Yeah. for me, in my personal experience, I've always felt like whether I'm in any city, any age, any group of people, that similar to the kind of what I kind of try to be is like, just to, like, I know that if I pick up a phone and I call you, you're going to give me the best advice that you have available to your knowledge. You can either help me out of a situation, guide me through a situation. And it's just that feeling of a reliable person. Like when you're out here navigating the world on your own, as confident as you may come off, sometimes you're just like, man, I don't know what to do. And I know I've plenty of times when I first moved to Portland, I bumped my head doing a bunch of things, and all right, man, I probably called you too late, but at least I'm calling you now. I need your help. You know what I mean? Like that's been invaluable, and like that I can also just speak to, like, you know, some of the consistency I've learned from you, like watching you every day go work for Mann's, get up, no matter how cold, sick, hot it was. Yeah. You went to work, you did what you had to do, you provided for your family, and I feel like you've set the bar of like, that's a non-negotiable. Like you don't, I don't know, I couldn't imagine not being there for my family. So that I feel like was almost like ingrained as like, oh no, this is just how it is. Like I wouldn't even know any other ways if I had any other kids. Right. So I think seeing you with all of us, that was just one thing I really picked up on, was like, no matter, like, I don't even know all the stuff you was probably going through when we were kids. Yeah. But I know it was stuff. Yeah. But that never stopped you from coming home, never stopped you from taking us to a practice, taking us to a game. Right. Whatever it took, I felt like you would do, and you would put it on your shoulders. Like now I call you sometimes and I laugh, and I'm like, yo, I know why you fall asleep every chance you get, because I do the same thing. But it's because you put yourself second to everything else.
Yeah. And that is key, I think, to being a good father. There are certain ingredients that fit in there. The proportions may be different for each child and everything else, but being consistent, being steady, being available, you know, you've hit on those top things that are really important. And you know, I've seen parents who do those things for their kids, and one kid will turn out great, and the other may end up going to jail, you know, but the ingredients were there. Maybe you needed a little bit different, you know, for each child. You know, I know, you know, with the two children, you can do something with one that you can't with the other. You know, I know how I deal with your brother and how I deal with you are different. Yep. You know, how I deal with your sisters are even different still. And you have to be able to put those ingredients together to the point where, you know, you did not need a whole lot of guidance, direction day to day. When the big things came up, you called. When you called, I knew there was, okay, we need there's something we need to work on here. Okay. But typically you were always a problem solver and took care of stuff. And I remember when you were in daycare, you know, your brother sent him to daycare. He cried the entire day, did not want to be there. Sent you to daycare that entire day. The teacher said she could see that you were scared, but you wouldn't cry. You know, you made the best of it. And that seems to be who you are, you know, and I deal with your brother differently because he emotes differently, you know, but I love y'all just the same. Now, what happened? What could I have done better? What could I have improved on as a dad?
This is going to be the pot calling the kettle black. I think communication. Yeah. I think as siblings, we could kind of always assume maybe what dad was thinking. Yeah. But you're also married to a very vocal woman and mom. Yeah. And so I won't say bad, but I would say, maybe I don't know exactly how dad feels about this or dad feels about that until maybe now, because I can ask those questions. But growing up, it was heavy mom because she was there. Like again, you were providing. She was there a bit more day to day. She was hands on, and so obviously your
Yeah.
presence was still felt, but it was more so like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I kind of wonder what
Right.
Dad was thinking at those moments, or what was
Mm-hmm.
the, you know, you taught us lessons, but you taught us probably lessons in a different way than like the verbal.
Yeah.
Like it was very much like,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
take you out to do this. Or
Your mother was always very, very, vocal in everything she said. Whatever she felt, whatever she thought, it came out. And if she thought it in an angry way, it came out in an angry way.
Yeah.
Very, very loving, very, very, doting on her kids, spoiling her kids. But also, on the other hand, when things weren't going the way she thought they should go, she let you know in no uncertain terms.
That's a fact.
And and I guess I was always trying to moderate her, not to be too extreme in either way, and also not disagree with her in front of you all.
Yeah.
So it was always a delicate balancing act. But there were times when, like when you were deciding which college to go to, you and I had a private conversation that she wasn't a part of, and it went against what she wanted.
Yep.
So you had to kind of weigh. All right, well, I don't want to be divisive. She and I should be a unit, but I also have to make sure the best is done for you. And that's where you talk about the man being the head of the household, being the covering for the household. That's where you have to be as a man. Sometimes you have to make decisions that are just unpopular, but make them in a way that's diplomatic, make them in a way that's not going to shift the paradigm. Because I wasn't home most of the time I was working.
Yep.
She was in charge when I'm not home. So I didn't want you feeling like, oh, well, I'll just wait till Dad gets home and get what I want.
Yeah.
So there's always that delicate balance. Did I get it right all the time? No. But there are times when I did get it right. So, and that's the other thing with parenting. You're going to get some things right. You're going to get probably a lot more wrong than you get right, but don't stop trying.
Yep.
Don't stop pursuing it. Yep. All right. Anything else?
No, I mean, I feel like you mentioned, like I'm an observer. So I've watched you, I've watched how you've parented. I feel like I've learned a lot of the good qualities that I have. And the reason I said it's the pot calling the kettle black, because I'm not the greatest communicator. Like I will admit, like people watching this know I don't pick up the phone, so they already know. So I say that as like I feel like we've gotten closer over the years. I feel like as I've become a parent, a dad, I enjoy you being around the girls and you getting to see me parent, because like that's life right now for me. Like when people ask like what are you doing? Like I work and I parent. Like I'm a dad. That's it. I'm not in social circles. I don't have too many extracurricular activities. So I just appreciate you pouring everything into us, and now hopefully you get to see that trickle on, and you get to see me do that with the girls.
And I love seeing it with you doing that with the girls. It's just it's passing on the legacy. The Bible talks about a wise man or a wealthy man passes on an inheritance to his children's children. And most people think about that as money all the time. And part of it is money. We should have a will. We should have estate planning done. All of those things should be in place. But also the values that you have should be passed down to your children, and they can pass them on to their children. And it's a different reward watching your children and then watching them parent and how you parent. Really makes me proud, and I enjoy watching it. Sometimes I'm just sitting there watching what's going on. I don't even have to be involved in it. Just seeing how you're interacting with the kids. I'm very, very proud of you. Very, very proud of the job that you have done.
Thank you.
And listen, I want to thank you for taking the time. We're actually, the girls are laying down for a nap right now, so we had to kind of sneak in this time. to record the podcast. But listen, folks, I want to thank you for listening to the Manhood Podcast. If you are a father, it is for you. If you have a father that you don't understand, that you would like to understand better, we're not making excuses for fathers. Hopefully you'll get the explanation of why they are the way that they are. Sometimes it's how their father treated them. Sometimes it's just not knowing what to do and being frozen in time. So hopefully you'll understand and then be able to forgive them. And then if you know somebody who is a father who could learn some things before they make the same mistakes that we have, this is the podcast for you. Subscribe to us on our YouTube channel, Manhood Podcast. Listen to us wherever you get your podcast from. Thank you for listening. Jarrett, thank you again for sharing with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so long.